Welcome back to another episode of Uploaded and Unfiltered, the podcast in which I, your host, Jermaine, interviews another content creator in regards to the journey thus far. As always, this week I have a special guest, and before I get him on the line, I'm going to give us a little bit of information, a little backstory on DJ Killzown Jones, and then we'll get him on this podcast for an awesome conversation. All right, I'm going to try to one read this. DJ Killzown Jones is a gamer, content creator, DJ, and artist from St. Louis, Missouri. He's garnered over 2 million views across his social media channels, covering everything from breaking news on Mortal Kombat 11 to legendary interviews with icons like Jason David Frank, aka Tommy the Green Ranger from Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Murphy Lee, and Kiwan of the St. Lunatics. He's reported for major events such as PAX East, C2E2, and Mo Game Con. For over 10 years, Killzown has provided unbiased, comprehensive coverage of video games, music, movies, and pop culture, and he shows no sign of slowing down. The single HMU, aka Hit 'em Up, is also available on all digital music platforms. And with that, I'd like to introduce my guest for the evening, DJ Killzown Jones. Welcome to the podcast. How are you doing today, man?
First of all, thank you,
Yeah.
Crip, for having me on. I'm doing good, man. Just, dealing with just the winter, the weather in St. Louis, you know what I'm saying? And, I was telling you off air about, my car accident and everything. So I'm grateful to be alive, and all of this stuff is, I'm getting ready to get back on road, and then, just gearing up for all of the games and the events and stuff like that. Like I really got a point to prove I'm working on, and then a lot of goals that I'm trying to crush for this year. So Lord willing, we could get that done. But I'm doing pretty good. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing excellent. Like I said earlier, I woke up to the power being off, and it didn't register that the power was off. I was just like, oh, that's weird. And I'm glad it was that, because I didn't want to wake up freaking out, like all nervous. I just woke up and eventually came back. So I can't complain. We got heat again. We're going to start from the top, because every guest that I've had on, something about their content hooked me in. And with you have a ton of TikToks about like old content, like games that I haven't played in years. You just got you had a stack of all your Dead or Alive games. All right, man, here we are. Let me go ahead and ask you, how did you get started in content creation? What is your origin story?
So it started when I was a kid, right? And it started with this right here.
Is that a Sega controller?
Yes, this is for the Sega Mini that came out. I think I got them down here somewhere, but I had the controller right here because I could use it when I play the Sega collection. I'm thinking about getting the Mini too.
Okay.
The price then skyrocketed. So if you didn't, you got to hurry up and get one, because that's the one with the 6 buttons on.
Yeah.
But my cousin, his name is DJ Coney, and I was in between here in Philadelphia. So during the school year, I'd be here in St. Louis, but every year since I was a baby until I was 13 years old, my uncle passed. That's where I got my name AJ from. His name is AJ, but I was named after him. I would be with my cousin DJ Coney. Like if he wasn't working, and if my uncle, they went out, he would go, and, you know what I'm saying, I would go with him when he did certain gigs and stuff like that. So that's where the DJ came from. And that's also where the video games came from, because he has his Sega Genesis hooked up to a big TV, about a 32 to a 48-inch TV he had in his room. Like they had TVs all over the house.
Yeah.
So I would be playing Sonic the Hedgehog or Tecmo Bowl or whatever with him, my cousin Guy, my cousin John, like all of my cousins up there, and I was the youngest. So that's what started it. And then my uncle, he would record everything. So like my retro life, he didn't spend the money. They had money, but he didn't spend like 10 grand on my aunt would not let him buy that camera. Because if he had bought that camera, I would have been the Black My Retro Life.
Exactly. So that's crazy.
I'm part of the My Retro Life Defense Force. Still in his content. But anyway, shout out to him. But anyway, he would record us just doing everything. So that They would go on trips. He'd have a
Mhm.
camera. He'd be around the house.
Nice.
So that's what started the whole, and it subconsciously, because I'm like, and then from there I had like the Techo TV like the TV camera
Well,
that you
yeah.
hook up to the, and so you could record to a tape, and you would see on your TV. Your TV would be
That's
your monitor.
crazy.
So
Yeah.
I would try to record myself. I would switch the camera over and and it would have those scan lines up on it.
Yeah.
So from there, it was like we would freestyle, we would do funny stuff like that. And then it was like, all right, one of these days, I'm gonna be able to do this. And we were listening and doing music too.
Okay.
So I was horrible. You know what I'm saying? Up until about middle school. And that was when, I had freestyled over this beat called Make Love by Daft Punk. And it was what was this? It had this little 808 in there, and then you just hear it in the back, make. And I was over here trying to mac on this chick.
Yeah.
But it was horrible. I was cussing. I had CDs made. My boy Rimrod, who's like a big photographer in St. Louis, and he had me on one of his commercials that went super viral for this place called Sandwicher. It's a hood spot on steroids here in St. Louis. So anyway, shout out to them. Shout out to Rimrod. Shout out to them. He got wind of it. And his boy Patrick, like, man, I don't know. He was like, no, I think you got something, because this was before Busta Rhymes did Touch It. This was before The Weeknd. And I'm mad they retired.
Right.
But this was before that, because I was like, I was in love with Interstellar 555. And then when Human After All came out, I was there, when that happened. So this is all leading up to the original version of Hit Me Up. So I was on Newgrounds, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I was trying to rap because, again, Nelly came out. Video games didn't even come back into my mind until a little bit later after this.
Wow. All right.
Hit Me Up comes, and I'm rapping. This time, I'm a little bit more confident. Yeah. And I've been writing, and I just heard, I was just like, I'm going to put a song together.
Yeah.
And basically, I was telling everybody, hit me up. Back then, it was, hit me up on MySpace. On Bebo, like Bebo was popping back then. Cause I know you a few years older than me, Crip.
Yeah.
So we were on Bebo. A lot of older people on MySpace and Facebook.
Yep.
So that's what
I didn't even
it was.
hear Bebo. That's crazy.
Yeah. So Bebo was like where like Soulja Boy, different rappers were like popping off, or the Crank era, the Snap era. That's where all the younger people, they were on all of them, but. I remember Soulja Boy always having the cool layout. So I had a cool layout, and I had all the cool layouts on it. So that's where it started. And then, once I put Hit Me Up out, and reality kind of set in. I had ended up performing, performing in my high school. I was probably the only secular artist that performed. I went to a Lutheran high school.
Oh, so, wow. And they let you do it?
Yeah. Well, the principal, the vice principal, everybody in the front office had to hear it, and they liked it.
Okay, so that's dope.
My coach, who was also over the spring dance, he got in charge of it. He was like, "You can do it." So I did it, and then reality hit because I'm a senior now. You know what I'm saying? So it's like that was where I saw that people that looked like us. It was Hip Hop Gamer. It was Gamer Tag Radio. Was even we had the video game show here in St. Louis. They were.
I didn't know that.
They were always on the top 10 podcast because there weren't that many back then. You had One Up. You had
GameSpot.
You had Games Radar.
Yeah.
And you had the video game show, and they were always in the top 10. And they had I forget what they were on an Xbox website. But anyway, that was when the content bug hit me, because I was always on game trailers. I was always on IGN. I was always on One Up. I was watching G4 and everything else like that. So I was like, okay, I don't have a big setup, but I got a computer. I can do a review.
Yeah.
I can get some screenshots. I can put it together.
Exactly.
And so I was a part of this website called, well, actually before that, I had my YouTube going. So I was doing vlogs. I was
Yep.
doing, I was dropping songs still.
Yeah.
And so at the same time, like, all right, I'm gonna get on these webs. So I was on Real Talk Gamer, shout out to Andre Taco Man 5000. And then I was like, it was like a little undercurrent of tension because I was cool with the guys at the coalition. And then also I was doing like they had the Epic Network, which was like a sister site that did just nothing but music. So we're doing that. And then I was also with Torrance Davis when he did STFU Will Play. So Torrance was the person who discovered hip hop, gave hip hop a platform. They was doing the video game Warzone.
Yeah.
And hip hop blew. I was there around the time hip hop blew up.
Yeah.
So now hip hop is like, he's doing all type of crazy stuff. He's interviewing Denzel. He's at E3. He's at Summer Games Fest. He's here. He's there. He's there. He just did one with Anthony Mackie.
That's
and
dope.
the brother who plays Falcon. So yeah, he got a show on Hot 97. Shout out L Streets.
Man.
That's my Jajal family. She just did a battle up there and they played her song Dipset, which is in NBA 2K25. Is it 25? Yeah, it's 25. I think I got it sitting right. I got it sitting right here. We got Jason Tatum on the cover, you know what I'm saying? So, the point, so all of that happened, right? We got to rewind a little bit. So at the time, it was a guy, I'm not going to mention his name, that was on. I kind of fell out with the Epic Network guys because there was a young lady who had, this is right after the whole Chris Brown and Rihanna thing, but before Karuchi, right? So that didn't work out. And the guy, not one of the guys that the guys had basically was like, no, we don't want to do that. All right. Left Dre. I'm like, my writing wasn't up to par. Didn't clear that interview with them. So I'm thinking like, she's going to keep it real, but it's just like, it's not necessarily exposing him. It's just like, she wants to come forward because she wants to tell her story. And it was before like, and I'm not thinking, you know what I'm saying? Now, hindsight 2020, you're not thinking in the moment like she's finna go on her and just ask this dude. It's like, no, I'm thinking to myself, like she had a bunch of songs and stuff. Like she had Strip with Kevin McCall and stuff. Like she's not even on internet no more. So I'm telling you, that's why I'm telling you this stuff.
Yeah.
So it's like she got married and she deleted all her social.
Yeah, she's like, I'm done with that.
So, but it was at the time, it was just like, he was posting her too. But it was like, she got like a YouTube takedown. So I'm like, come on, Chris, that ain't like, I'm right. Like I was one of the people that was like, all right, what he did was messed up. So now we got this girl here who dropping the music through.
Right.
And she helping you get it popping. And I'm like, let's put her story out there. Not let's blast him because I'm going to offer some pushback. So that's how Killzown interviewed that. And then right after that happened, hip hop and I did my first interview and it was called I Heard Him Say. And I'm going to put it back online one of these days. So all of this is going on just back to back to back. Meanwhile, I'm in school. I'm about to graduate with my associates. I'm about to work my first real job, but I'm on YouTube still, but I'm not taking it serious. So after I get over with Torrance, there's some guys over there. We fall out. Me and Torrance, we get back cool. I go my separate ways. I get with Real Gamer News. So I'm still doing YouTube. I got a mixtape series called Target Practice Mixtapes. I redropped the original version of Hit Me Up. And I'm getting music from all the people in St. Louis and stuff like that. So then it's just like we're just moving. So all this stuff is just happening. But until I got on YouTube, right? SoundCloud came, they hit the band hammer. I had like 500,000 plays. And I had mainstream music and I was mixing. I was actually mixing the song. I wasn't just uploading. I was putting tags. I was doing the whole DJ drama.
Right.
So this is when I dropped. This is when I went from DJ AJ, because I know this is your second question, but we still rolling because he gave me the. Normally I don't give the people my guests the questions, so I got Killzown interviews going. I got Target Practice mixtapes going, and then I dropped this freestyle because it was called Pony News Fast, right?
Okay.
And at the time, hip hop was getting ready to launch his website, and he did it with Dead Space 2, right?
Ooh, okay.
So I was on there rapping about, I think I'm Tor Davis, Swift Luther. Like I'm dropping all the names of the black journalists on here, right? That I'm working with. So I'm just like, I just say the ball. I'm freestyling it.
Yeah.
So I said, because I was starting to roll out Kratos, but I'm like, it's not, it don't have a ring to it. But when I was playing Killzown 3, it came out at the time. I was so moved by the story. I was like, let's see that. Let's do that. But let's switch it up.
Yeah.
And Killzone 3, spoiler alert for a 15-year-old game. Right? The ISA, they had pretty much got abandoned because they took out Basari, who was like the czar of the Hell Gas, right? And the ISA represented everybody on Earth. So that was like, at that moment, I was so moved by the story because they were like, we're going to finish this mission.
Mm-hmm.
And that's when I came up with the name. So you kill and kill zone is killing all ill expectations, owning up to what you set out to do. And of course, Jones is my last name, right?
Yeah.
So I put it all together and it rhymes, right?
That's dope.
So we move. I know we moving kind of fast.
No, we good.
I feel like I feel like Twister up here.
Yeah, if you good, I'm good. Like I'm enthralled.
So I dropped the freestyle.
Yeah.
Torrance picks me up. We rocking for a few months. The fallout happens because the guy he had working, I'm back to doing YouTube. But at the same time, the music, that stopped. So I'm hitting the roadblock. Couldn't do the mixtapes, but I'm doing the videos of blogging about hip hop stuff. This is around the same time academics. I actually started before academics.
Right.
Stopped to do the gaming.
Gotcha.
Came back because I'm like, I can't put my music out without having the platform. And I'm seeing hip hop do it. Hip hop got into you see that Twisted Metal dog back there in the back? That's from David Jaffe. Hip hop was doing that.
Damn.
So I'm like, I'm taking hip hop's playbook and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at, the Soulja Boys, the Joe Buttons, different people did it, make the platform. So I'm going, then I end up dropping this video about Troy Ave and Taxstone. And they had their infamous incident in New York in Urban Plaza. So I thought that Troy Ave, it came out at first that Troy Ave, Taxstone had got Troy Ave locked up. He got locked up first.
Okay.
Then it came back around that, it was actually the other way around. And then Troy Ave put me on his album. I got blocked by Taxstone on there because I was just like, because I was mad because Tax Season was one of my favorite. Like, he would be like, be safe though. And he would always call people beloved. And, he got that, I don't know if he was from Harlem or I forgot where he was from, but he just had that New York accent. And he was brolic. Like, he had went to prison. He came home. Charlemagne put him on.
Yeah.
He got all the fly honeys. He started having a camera. So it's like, I get to see, so some of them I follow to this day. So the point is, people started liking my takes, but then I started doing the interviews again, but I rebranded it. Killzown Interviews. Me and my boy Breezy, we was doing Beats and Bits podcast.
Okay.
So, we were doing that, and it was, all this stuff is just popping off, and I got, celebrities and stuff like this. So at the time when I was with Torrance, right before I left him, I went to PAX. Well, no. That was after that. I went and I interviewed for Wizards World, because that was the same company at that point who was doing PAX. So he sent me over to Wizards World. I get there. I get the camera. I had this little shaky handy cam. I did the interview with Jason David Frank. He was like, I got 5 minutes. Let's do it. So we do it.
That's dope.
Everybody else was Hollywood. Like, I'll take that back. Billy D wanted to do it, but his handler didn't let him, and he wasn't ready to answer questions.
Damn.
But he checked his handler and was like, the young brother wants to talk to me. So let's give him a minute. The doors ain't even open. I forgot whatever it is. So we sitting there talking, and I asked him about, life, about was he coming back for Star Wars because the Force Awakens that came out. So we're just life
So
is just
dope.
happening. It's just happening. Like in the midst of that, my aunt passed. After my aunt passed, I move on from them. I get reached out by a brother named John Iro. I go on Real Gamer News. At
Okay.
that point, I start reviewing the games and stuff like that. YouTube is picking up. I'm working a gainfully employed job. Life is decent. I'm about to move into my own spot,
Yeah.
finally. And, I reviewed, what was it called? It was a golf game. What was it? Golf club. And it was another golf game that was on Xbox that we got. I reviewed Alien Isolation.
Okay.
I reviewed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this was all on Real Gamer News.
That's
I
dope.
think, so then, something happened again. We part ways.
Yeah.
I'm the common denominator because I'm like, I'm loyal to a fault. So it's like when my loyalty gets tested, I'm like, I'm going, but I'm not. I'm gonna get there. So we keep going.
Yeah.
I go viral again for the whole bankroll fresh and the incident with him and this gentleman named No Plug.
Okay.
It was so passionate because I had just seen him or whatever. I was really liking his music.
Yeah.
And I found out that my nephew, who is Sean Ferrari, he produces for like Sexy Red, Gucci Mane, Gunna, all these people, right? So this is before he blew up. He's down at Street Exec's studio, which is 2 Chainz and DJ Technique studio in Atlanta.
Okay.
His son was being born. So 3 days before the incident, he comes home. His son is born, but we find out later Bankroll Fresh passes away, right?
Yeah.
So all the while, like all these different moments is happening. I'm getting 20,000, 50,000. Troy Ave put me on the album. Then this blows up. And then still doing YouTube, but then I meet this guy named Darius Robbins.
Okay.
Over My Check Global. And then I learn about the music industry. So I'm already hesitant because I'm like, I'm seeing DJ Academics getting pressed.
Right.
I'm seeing all this stuff going on. So he teaching me about marketing because he runs a marketing firm. He works with Boosie, Nino Brown, Money Man, all these different people in the music industry, local businesses and stuff like that. So he's teaching me this, and then Steve Cardenas comes along. Like he said, yo, I seen your interview with Jason David Frank.
Yeah.
I want to do an interview. I said, hold up. I don't know. I could do the interview.
Yeah.
But I got something better for you. I hook him up with Darius.
Yeah.
He does the marketing and then he takes off. He had like 30,000 views, 30,000 followers on Instagram.
Yeah.
He's at like 250 something now. He went from like doing 8 shows or whatever a year to like 20. He went overseas one year. He met his wife, got married.
Dude.
He's got his own dojo now.
That's huge.
He gets back on Netflix for the 30th anniversary. And it's just like, so this was off of me and Darren, but at the time, stuff started happening in the city. So it's just like, I pissed some people off there. So it's like, now I'm like, now all this didn't happen. This was 2009. I graduated from high school. Yeah. And now it's 2019. I'm streaming, but I'm not getting no views. My YouTube channel is down. It's in the doldrums or whatever.
Yeah.
And so the pandemic hits. I start streaming every day.
Right.
YouTube starts picking back up. And then the pandemic ends. And I did a lot of interviews in between there. I had Ken Foki and Shine On, Parlay from the Franchise Boys. You remember the White Tee song? Yeah. I had who else did I have on? KV the writer. Like I went on a run. Okay. But 52 Savage from Dallas, he had this song Pressure. He was on the Breakfast Club like 3 times. They gave him some teeth or whatever. They fixed his teeth. And then, it was like he's an older guy, but he's rapping old school, new school, and he's keeping up with everybody else. Right. So all of this stuff is going on. And I want to say 20 about 2022, back at work full time. It came from being at home and then being, back and forth, right?
Right.
Working from home, teleworking, and then being in the office. So that's when I decided to get on TikTok. And I felt like I had got to it late. I wasn't expecting it to just for me to go viral.
Right.
And then that, like, over and over and over and over again. Got on Twitter. That was the wrong thing. Fell out with some people over there. But at this point, I learned, I'm like, all right, everybody's not going to have the same type of integrity as you. And everybody is like, I want to say, territorial of what they're doing. So I've done all of this, and I'm like, and my family and even myself, I'm like, where's the money? Where's the games and all this stuff is gonna come from? But it was like I had to realize that God was getting me ready for right now.
Yes.
From last year. So me and Breezy are on Skype.
Okay.
Well, no, we're on a phone actually, and I'm telling him, I'm like, dude, my TikTok is going crazy. I think this year is gonna be the year. So I was fearful, but I had faith that was gonna work out. But all of 2023, I had like 24 games.
Okay.
Microsoft Flight Simulator, Castlevania. Vampire Survivors, the old Castlevania DLC, Operation Galaga, the Roll Prince of Persia, and I could just go on and on and on and on and on. And it was just, and this year, just starting out, I got like 6 games. So
hey,
let me see if I can. You pull it up on my phone,
man.
It was just a whirlwind. So that was kind of like, that's the condensed version of the story. I know I told you I was trying to keep it short.
Hey,
but it was just like
event. You had a lot of stuff. I knew it. I told you. I was like, it's gonna be chunky because you do a lot of stuff.
So it took it because at first, Crip, it was like because I know we mixed both of the questions, the first 2 questions together,
and it's beautiful. It works.
So it was just like I had to get focused, and we'll talk about that a little bit later with lessons learned and
advice.
The advice.
Yeah.
All of this happened because I had to get focused because at the same time, I'm trying to date.
Yep.
I'm trying to buy a car. I'm working long hours, overtime, and I'm still coming home doing 2 or 3 videos.
Yeah.
I'm dealing with copyright strikes.
Oh man.
In content ID claims just because I said a song, a name of a song, or I might have said that, in the cadence of the song. So they're like, we got to claim this video. Then I had to take it. It was just like crazy. So I'm dealing with all this, fighting with labels, going through it with retail. Certain stuff was going on, like not working retail, but just dealing with certain purchases and stuff like that.
Right.
Can't talk about it. They may be signing some paperwork, but the point is dealing with all of that. Dealing with the fallouts, dealing with all of that, and I had to learn, Crip, that the journey is just as important as the destination.
Yes.
Because we can get off of here and then I go and blow up and then you could be like, see, he had him before he went Hollywood. And then I'll be 35 this year.
Okay.
After, losing my aunt, losing my uncle, my aunt, another uncle, 3 uncles at this point, and then my grandmother and my godmother this past year. It was just the ride that I had. Like, you know what I'm saying? Oh, I forgot about the extra life. I cleared my extra life goal before I had even started the stream. So I was just like, I'm
what? How? That's crazy.
My dad tried to spin the block on that's a whole different story. But I'm playing the demo for Tekken. Like, I'm going to work late to play it.
Yeah.
And Kazuya, Jin, they and Heihachi and Kazuya. So I hear the phone ring, and we have one of those, because I have my studio. Well, I'm not gonna say where I had, but I was at my mom's at this point.
Yeah.
So, bring the PlayStation over. I'm doing laundry. I'm hanging out, eat breakfast. So I say, okay, I'm gonna hook the game up because the Tekken demo drops and I want to get some footage. So I had set everything up. I had everything ready. I'm setting it up. The phone rings. I look over and I'm like, is that my? But she caught it before because she got like an old school answer machine. So it reads the name of the person.
Right.
So I'm looking, I'm like, whatever, I'm back, doing what I'm doing. And I walk out and then it's like, your father called. I'm like, is he all right?
Right.
So I go out and look up in the sky and I'm like, okay, God, all right. So all this is just happening at the same time. And it's just like, I learned from the journey and how to manage it. And this is where we get, and I forgot to even mention this. A couple years ago, L Streets reached out to me, and that's why this is so important, because I helped her with a lot of the stuff that she had, but she had fostered a lot of great relationships. And I had to, like I said, with me, it was a lot of bridges burnt. Right. But at the same, some of it was my fault, some of it was their fault. Gotcha. But she learned how to foster that, working with Twista and Shauna with GMG.
Yeah.
And she took a break. So we just happened to be on Call of Duty. I see her online, like, hey, anybody playing Call of Duty? I added her. And she started asking me about thinking about getting into the game. And so that's where we get Jadal Gaming. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we get that. And then she started building the clan. We ended up going number 1 on the leaderboard in Call of Duty Vanguard for Team Deathmatch.
Yeah.
They reached out, like, and some of the people that she knew doing music, they were at 2K.
Right.
So now she has the song there, and it's just like,
that's wild.
I can say, just like I said with Steve, I had a hand in that. And I tell Darius all the time, and Mike said, "Oh, I'm like, yo, we helped save the Power Rangers because if you know that story, they got hoes back in the 90s. Like they got played, and they could have got seriously injured or died for some of the episodes that we enjoy, being non-union actors getting the for real. So I look back at my life and I feel like, and I tell my friends, be like, oh man, you got it made in the shade. I'm like, I don't feel like I got it made in the shade yet, because I hadn't got the checks and stuff like that yet. But I had to take a deep breath and kind of look back. Like I look back, but I don't turn all the way back around.
Yeah.
So which is where we are today. So, that's my story. Sorry, y'all, that we took but that was it in a nutshell, because I didn't want to. I wanted to skip over some stuff, and I'm like, ooh, I can't, because when we get to this next part, I'm gonna expound upon it. So go ahead, Crip. Sorry.
Yeah, like as you were talking, like not only did you hit, the reason why I let people just go is because you hit all the points. Like there's lessons learned in there. Like you had to learn that, okay, when you're working with other people, there's a certain way you got to move. Like you talked about the journey, which I tell everybody, I was like, from point A to, let's say you just starting off, you want to be a content creator that makes money. The journey between that is the fun part. Like make it fun or it will be hell. Like that's on you. Like you could decide this is going to be a fun journey. I'm learning, I'm meeting new people, I'm making new relationships. Or you can be like, no, I'm dealing with copyright claims. I'm dealing with people trying to take my stuff down. And I'm glad you mentioned that, because people don't talk about that stuff, but that can be a stressor. So with all of that, where is your current head? Like, because I feel like I know, but like you let us know, where's your current mindset when it's going forward with the content?
So the mindset of it is the same mindset that I put into my content, as well as with my church, Bethlehem Lutheran Church. That's in the heart of North St. Louis. The mindset is to stay focused, stay consistent, stay faithful, and just continue to improve on it. Because what happens is people get caught up. I mean, yeah, I put the views there, right? But it's not to like toot my own horn or whatever. That gets the people clicking, right? But I don't know if you notice, it's not about followers anymore. It's not about subscriptions anymore. It's about the content. It's not about if you're on PlayStation or Xbox. It's about the games now. Like, it's about the games. And I think that it's certain people that want to quantify you from a number. And I mean, to be fair, the events, the access and stuff, yeah, they want to see if you got a big enough following because they're trying to make money and they know you're trying to make money. So they're going to give you access if you already, that's just across the board, whether you're an artist, whether you're a DJ, whether you're a content, whatever you're doing, you have to have that audience, but you don't have that audience overnight. And what I'll say is my mindset, like I said, is just being consistent, being faithful, and just having that thirst to improve. And then where I'm at now, I'm trying to drop 5 videos or more a day.
Excuse me?
And I know that, and I've done it because I had the foresight, because my mom, like, funny story. My mom, when I was 21, I had bought some prophylactics. I don't know if I can say the other words.
Yeah, you good.
In the house. I brought some condoms in the house.
Yeah.
And my mom, you know how she says your whole name and tells you to come here, and the room gets quiet, and she just was like, "Who are you screwing in the house?" And I'm like, dazed and confused. Who are you screwing in?
Yeah, he's like,
and she almost like elbowed my TV. I didn't even have an HD TV back then.
You got the CR big one?
Man, the big joint. I had to get the biggest joint that I could get. Because I had the little RF connector that I found, and I had to hook that joint up and hook it up because it didn't even have AV cables. I had to hook that joint up and hook it up to the back. Oh, man, my grandmother gave me the TV. I was so sad when I had to get it up.
That makes sense.
But at that point, I realized that was another thing. Like, I'm like, man, I went through this far, and back then I was like, I didn't even know if I could get one game. Now I have over 30, with like 2 or 3 mid-tier games, a lot of indie games, and one big game. I'm like, okay, I'll take it. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator. I'll take it. I will be thankful for that.
Exactly.
You know, and so that's my mindset. It's, don't think you're gonna get in here and get rich quick, right? Unless you, and I'm gonna explain this to people. You're not gonna be Casanat. You're not gonna be I Show Speed. Those people, their parents saw the vision early and they invested in the vision early. They bought ads. They allowed them to stream. You know, granted, they had to probably do their chores for a month in advance or whatever it was. You're not gonna be there if you don't have your families. You know, if you don't have any responsibility. The older you get, the harder it gets.
Right.
I don't care if you got kids or you're not married or you're married or whatever. It still gets harder because you get older. You got to protect your eyesight. You gotta get moving. You can't just sit there all day. You gotta get sleep. So that's why I said, like, that's where my mindset is. Alexa, be quiet. You have to have a passion for it. Leave that in. You have to have a passion for it. Because if you don't have a passion for it, like I outgrew, honestly, I would probably, this actually is motivating me to get back into Killzone. But I kind of, when you outgrow certain stuff, like I outgrew the hip hop kind. I'm missing out on so much money right now. I could be talking about such as, but my thing is, when I'm different than academics. I'm not no street guy, but I am from the north side of St. Louis. I'm 6'4", 300 pounds, and I ain't no punk. So my point is, I don't want to have to go. This L Streets right here. What's up, L?
That's crazy.
So yeah, but man, if you have to have a real passion for this, and you can't, you have to have tunnel vision.
Yes.
Because if I sat there, if I was a hater, I'd be looking at this like, man, why can't it be me? If I was looking at hip hop, man, why can't hip hop just pull me up and just put me on? Like, I had to tell my partner this. He's like, man, I see you on this, that, and the third, put me on. I say, bro, you got to start working. You have to start making content And he gets caught because he's a pretty boy. He can just sit back, take pictures all day, look cool, and just do this all day.
Right?
He ain't got to play the game. He
Run
can
it
be
up.
just like
Yeah.
like Pokemon, just sit there and just be like, shout out to her though, because she do be playing the game, but they just like to see her sit like this and look cute all day long. So, you know,
It's funny.
but yeah, like that's where my mind state is, just being and spending time with your family. I'll say that. Don't put nothing over God and your family. Put God first. I know it sounds like Denzel, but put God first in everything that you do. He ain't lying. And if you don't know him, get to know him. I'm not trying to be religious on here, but I'm just gonna tell you, it's a lot of times that I messed up, that I thought I was down and out. He opened up another door. You know what I'm saying? And another door, and another door, and another door. Or when I, made foolish decisions or chasing some girl or whatever. And I've seen other people fall into these pitfalls. That get kids, that get burnt, this, that, and the third happens, their
Right.
whole life crumbles.
Yeah.
I was spared from that. So now, especially in the times we in now, every day is a gift. So you got to enjoy these things and take care of these things, because they says in the Bible, I'm gonna put you over a little bit before I put you over a lot. So if you can't handle the indie game and getting the indie game out there on time, if you can't handle interviewing the indie artist or the small creator, you don't deserve to holler at hip hop gamer or kind of funny or what, because you're gonna have a chip on your shoulder,
Right?
like, yeah, this is me. I'm gonna pop my collar. You can't tell me nothing. So then you get you become a cocky individual, and then you get lazy. So I stay humble through the whole thing. You know what I'm saying? I try not to get full of myself. Even when I'm in tour with folks, like, I can't bring myself. I would say something petty, I had to delete it, or I would just bite my tongue if I'm in, because I'm like, I don't have to put Crip down to make myself feel big. Even though people have went out of their way to try to trash my name, it's still without in me, especially to a black man, man.
Right.
That's where my mindset is.
That's dope. It's awesome to hear. And I was telling my wife this earlier. It's awesome to hear other people say things that's been in my brain. Because you mentioned something about the game keys. I remember when I first started on Twitch, there's there's probably more sites now, but there were a few sites you can jump on, put your little info in, and get some free keys. And they were indie games. And I was like, I don't care. I'm playing this. Like, I got a free key and I got to pay for it, and I get to make content out of this. This is dope. And eventually EA come through like, hey, do you want to play Apex on stream? I'm like, yes, I do. And that's how those relationships get built, is once they see you can do it small league, then they're like, all right, they got a little following, they've been consistent. Let's see what they can do with this. And not enough people know that or understand that. So I appreciate you saying that.
Yeah, man, because everybody wants to get the keys to the kingdom, and you haven't even swept the stairs. Like,
right?
you ain't swept the stairs. You ain't, what I'm saying? That's why I always like Zelda. I never finished Zelda, but I realized that in Zelda, especially these last couple ones, right?
Yeah.
You start with absolutely nothing.
Exactly.
Like the other Zeldas held your hand. Like, no, you're in the wild. The castle is right there. You can run up there and try to beat Ganondorf with that stick if you want
knocked out.
And now unless you dedicate it to prove yourself, because there's some people who crazy enough that have done it.
Exactly.
And have done it.
Yeah.
Scaled that wall, jumped in there.
That's true.
Found the little master sword off to the side. Because they put it in there just so you can find it. If you make it through, I think, the first couple waves of him.
Damn.
Then you get it towards the end. But it's like the journey is more important. That's what I learned from both of those games.
Yes.
Like, I
was like, was that fun?
Yeah, it's same thing with Dark Souls. I have yet to get. I haven't even got that far. I think the farthest I got, I'm in Demon Souls. I'm at the gate.
Oh,
the third
man,
boss.
I love those games.
And it's like those games teach you the process, patience.
Yep.
That's why I love Vampire Survivors, because I'm already knowing I'm gonna be here for 30 minutes.
Yes.
With this little sword.
Exactly.
Going around and around. I like Balatro.
Balatro is so good. Every night I play that joint.
And now, you know what? It's funny. I used to laugh at my mom with that little AA battery powered solitaires. And now we have became.
Now we got, oh my God, I can't believe you.
So
that's funny.
So yeah, man, that's my thought process. You know what I'm saying? That's where my mind is at. Getting closer to God, spending as much time with my mom. It's really just being her, because my siblings are out of town. My niece is here in St. Louis.
Yeah.
But, you know what I'm saying, just spending time, because my family is spread out. And before I settle down, and hopefully I could do it before 40, because I'm not trying to be 45 and trying to be a dad, and they got to bring me in a wheelchair. You know what I'm saying? I'm like Professor X said, my son's great, and then I don't want to pass. And it's like, dang, I want to be here for when my son like goes into his 20s, because my uncle passed when I was 13. I'm like, damn, if I had him, a lot of these things that I dealt with, you know what I'm saying, I would have moved through it more gracefully and probably sped things up. I probably would have been more consistent. I probably would have been more, because I was more adept to him than maybe even my cousin, my two cousins. Like I didn't want to let him down. You know what I'm saying?
That makes sense.
He stepped in when my dad wasn't around, or my stepdad wasn't around. So it was just like, I know that he'd be proud of me, of the man that I've become. So I move like that. I move like, is this going to reflect good on the people that love me and the people that follow me? So that's where I'm at with it.
I like that. All right, Killzown, we're going to switch things up a bit. I'm going to jump into words of advice, because you've seen a lot of things over your career as a content creator that most people haven't, and you've already dropped so many gems already. Like, I appreciate it, but if you had to give a piece of advice to, and I'm going to do this, usually I let you decide, but specifically to somebody who's been doing it, who has a YouTube channel, maybe it's starting to waver a little bit, who has a TikTok, who's been streaming on Twitch, what would your advice be to that person?
If you're not having fun, stop. If you're doing this to pay the bills, stop. If you might be in debt, go Uber, go ride share, go side hustle, get that second job, handle your business. You know, don't unalive yourself, right?
Yes.
Trying to get that money, because that money, it'll be here today and gone tomorrow. You might clear the board, and then something happens, and now you waste it all. So try to balance it out. But put just as much time. I look at it like, I call it the Ninja Turtle method, or the Mikey method, when he cut up the pizzas and stuff like that, the 8 slices. So you gotta look at your life as a piece, as a piece of pie, right? So you have you got 8 pieces of pizza, right? So you should have 4 different groups of, or let me see. 4 different groups, because you got 2 slices.
Heck yeah.
There's 2 slices for each group, right? So you should have time for faith, family, fun, and then work. And then your work is split between the 2 slices. So the work that you do to survive, that's 1 slice. But the work that you do to thrive, that's another slice. So that's why I said about doing the 5 video. I'm trying to get to 10, because I listen to a lot of Gary V, a lot of PBD. I listen to a lot of I listen to Ray Daniels, I listen to Shannon Sharp. I listen to a lot of interviews. You know, I listen to what's his name? Smart Christians Think. I listen to a lot of all things theology. I listen to a lot of different faith-based things. I listen to a lot of content things, a lot of gaming things. Like, I'm listening to more content about learning about different things, and learning about the industry, and learning about faith, because that's like your crust. You learn along the way. You get down to that crust, that's the end of it. But really, that's where the pizza and everything rises up. I know this is
right. No, this is great.
he
I
cut
love this.
TMNT
I love
reference.
this. No,
But it's like, you remember that episode where he like breaks down the pizza, or that part of the movie where he breaks down the pizza? That's
Yeah.
how I look at life. So you got the crust, you got the cheese, you got the top.
yes.
So you got to look at all of that stuff as all in layers, right? So
Mhm.
the crust is the information that you learn. So I had to learn, okay, go spend time with your mom watching Wheel of Fortune.
Mhm.
Even though you can't, or that Hallmark movie, or that cop drama.
Yeah.
And you know what I'm saying? Like, go spend that time, because you never know when your family members or whatever are gonna pass. If your friend pops up, make a plan to go see that
Yes.
friend or call that friend. Do that
For
as
sure.
soon as it comes, because that's God's alarm clock for you to go do that thing. Don't
Mhm.
put that off, right?
Right.
Or even just the things for yourself. Take those vitamins, read the
Yes.
Bible, whatever it is. Take that walk.
Yes.
If you feel something, that's usually your body is letting you know, hey, that's God's way of letting you know, hey, you need to eat some vegetables today. Maybe have one scoop of ice cream and one piece of slice. You can't do the 3 you used to do no more.
Exactly.
You can do the one. You can dress it up and put the toppers and everything on it, but make sure you got like 2 liters of water to go right behind that thing before you go. So that's what I'm saying. Like, that's the key. It's not about, okay, do this, do this, do this, do this, do this.
Mhm.
It's, do I love it? Like, after we get finished here, I'm about to go play a Vow. I've been playing a Vow the last couple, like, and I'm gonna make sure, okay, you don't have to stream like Kai. You don't have to stream for 8 hours and you got kids or a husband and a wife. You may only stream 2 hours. You might have to take a nap as soon as you might have to go to work early, get off early, take a nap, get up, hang with the kids, get them out the way, have some alone time with your wife, and now you got 2-3 hours that you got to stream,
Bro,
right?
that was my, like 5 years ago, that was my life. I was working full time in IT. I get off at 5, get home at 6. From 6 to about 7, it was dinner time, hang out with the girls. And then from like, I think it was like 8:30 to about 10, it was me and wifey time. Then from 10 until like 1 or 2 in the morning, I'm streaming or cutting a video or something content related. That's what I had to do. Was it awesome? Hell, like it was stressful when I wasn't looking what I was doing. When I was realized what I was doing, I was making time for everybody and myself. Then I was like, all right, I could do this. This is what we need to do right now. This is what I'm going to do. But yeah, you got to figure it out.
Exactly. So that's the words of advice for the person that's been doing it. Like, and
I love
what
it.
what I'll say is, you have to make sure, especially if you, and I'm gonna throw this in there for the single people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be too invested that you don't go live, right? Especially if you're in your teens, right?
Mm-hmm.
You need to go live, especially now. You could do IRL content. A lot of the content that goes viral for me is when I'm at the store on a fluke.
Nice.
Like, me saying that they locked the Pokemon, because I told everybody laughed at me about the Pokemon. I said, once people realize how much money it is going to be a gold rush, which is great for them, because now they pretty much knocked off the secondary market somewhat.
Okay.
But Yu-Gi-Oh is still there, because it hasn't happened yet for Yu-Gi-Oh. But with Magic, especially now with Pokemon is just like it was when it came out in the 90s.
Really?
ECG. The games have kind of fallen off. That's why you got Power World and stuff like that. It's so much money. So as people it's been 2 weeks, my phone has been blink, blink, because people have been seeing this and they're like, oh my God, thank God, I could finally get some Pokemon cards.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, and it's like, it's going viral. And then I learned, okay, you have to have a lust for knowledge.
Yes.
You have to have a thirst and a lust for knowledge. Like, okay, if I make a video, I can't spam it into a Facebook group or a Reddit group, or where I have to tailor it to ask a question. And then that's how I get in. And then I also contribute. You're going to have to spend time on Twitter, right? Stay out of the spaces if you can. I mean, sometimes it's cool if you want to jump on there, say a couple of words and jump out of there. but stay in the conversation. Don't, try to, okay, this is my guy. You don't know this person. You don't know who he beefing with. Learn how to network.
Mm-hmm.
Don't overshadow people where they're at or try to outshine people where they're at. Network, move and groove, stick and move. Because what's going to happen is, and don't think just because you went to an event a few different times and you hee haha, like you could collaborate with content creators, but that's kind of unless you're doing something like this to where I didn't even know Crip was watching. I didn't know that he was sponsored by EA until he just said that. I didn't know these things, but it's natural. But if I'm trying to force something, it's not going to work. Learn to make friends with the people that are at these. Then they'll come, that small percentage of people, they'll come and they'll follow you.
Right.
But enjoy the moment while you're there. Don't think, I need to pass out 15 different business cards.
Right.
I need to give something. Like, I want to go to a couple of conventions, right? And I want to bring a separate suitcase. Maybe if it's Southwest.
Yeah.
Making us pay for bags now again, but I want to pay for a whole separate suitcase with nothing but merch and give it to the people that are there. I want to give it to I'm giving y'all this for $1 million worth of game for free.
Yeah.
Word to Wallow and Gil.
Yeah.
You're going to spend extra money, but you're going to make something that people are going to actually use other than a pen or a lanyard. They're going to throw it away.
Right.
Give them a t-shirt. It's called, if you got money like that, give them a hoodie. Do the Master P. Hey, it's some people downtown or homeless people. Give them your merch and give them a pizza. Give them, a toiletry bag or something.
Didn't he?
And yeah, so it's like now you got people walking around with uploaded, unfiltered, and Killzown shirts all down.
That's why.
Then they got your social media on the back. Like, you're gonna have to go outside at some point. Because unless you're going to pull that, you're going to get a room and you're going to have, because the only way you're going to top Kai now is if you have a baddie sitting on your left or right. Or ladies.
You got to have a studio with stuff happening in the background. Like, it's going to be.
You want to do something to grab people's attention. But again, that's hard to humble because then you got to go bigger next time. Now you got to have 3 dudes, ladies up in there, 5 or 6 different girls, and they got to be. And then you got to make sure that they ain't too scantily clad because you might get banned.
Yeah, Twitch will get you.
So it's like, unless you're gonna have like the full set, like Kai, he's gonna do the Batman thing. So
that is a dope. Like, I told one of my homeboys, I was like, you could do that, do it on a budget. Because I watched this lady on TikTok make gourmet food out of paper, and she is like blowing the fuck up. Because it's creative as hell, it's different. Like, think outside the box. That's my advice is always think outside the box. Like, stop trying to emulate what people are doing and do what you feel like is fun to you.
But
I appreciate you. Thank you for coming through, taking a chance, doing this. I appreciate it.
Man, look, it's an honor and a pleasure to come through, man. I try to keep it as humble as I can because, you know what I'm saying, you didn't have to do this, and I appreciate you taking the time. I know we went double. This is a double stuff episode, but it's like they get because it's like I just appreciate that. I appreciate you reaching out, man. It lets me know that I'm on the right track.
Yes,
and that check your email. That's one more thing I'll say. Check your email, check your DM, because you never know who it is. Now, some stuff is a scam. But when this brother hit me up and I have been following his page, I usually make sure that I go, and if I see somebody is, following me, and I go and I'll follow them, I'll like a bunch of posts, save it so that they will pop up in my algorithm. So when I see this brother, I make sure I try to drop a like.
Yo, I appreciate that.
Again, you can't look and see what other people got going on. Be like,
exactly.
I'm not going to do, because that blocks your blessing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. I will say on that same front, like, reaching, when I first started this, of course, like the first maybe 20 episodes are all people I know. So it was real easy to get them on the podcast. But when it comes to reaching out to people you don't know, I had to tell myself, I was like, I didn't look at your numbers. I didn't look at your followers. What I did, I saw that like every piece of content that came up for you, I was like, oh, I'm fucking, like, this is dope. I like this. And like just hearing you talk and seeing where you're like just through those shorts, I was like, all right, I feel like this dude would be a good fit for the podcast. And then you get on here and everything you said, I had no idea about all this, like at all. But it all aligns with what I've been saying for the last year. It all aligns with the mission and the thought behind the podcast. So trust yourself when it comes to like reaching out to people. Or if you feel like you got an idea, push it because you never know what will come from it. And like, again, this podcast to me is a testament to that because I had no idea. And I appreciate all the knowledge you dropped here, man. It was dope.
Yeah, man. Hopefully it'll be a blessing to you, and then it'll be a blessing to everybody else that's tuning in, man. So,
sure.
I appreciate you for your time. Appreciate you for giving me a little minute to get home because through the snow.
Exactly.
Yeah, man. Because I really appreciate it, man. And hopefully we can do it again sometime.
Oh, 100%. But before we even get there, we need to do a call to action. You have a few platforms that you could shout out. So I'm going to give you the floor. Where can the people find your content?
Everywhere at DJ Killzown Jones, right? Except Twitch. Twitch, they got me for Grand Theft Auto 5 and they didn't tell nobody until like a day or two afterwards. So I actually had two Twitch channels. I got two YouTube channels. The main Twitch channel is DJ Killzown Jones. It's like the alt, if also on different platforms. So if you can't find Killzown Z, like the old school kills.
Yep.
Killzown Jones everywhere. So Killzone to Killzone everywhere. And I gave Crip the link so y'all can
I'll
go
be
and follow.
Dropping those in the description of the podcast.
Yep. And then, of course, we got Beats of Biz podcast right now. We got a couple episodes on streaming, but I have to go through and I've been, I'm probably just going to let them rock because I know we were going crazy on there. We're nothing too crazy on there being Breezy, but Breezy is a fool. Shout out to Breezy. That's my guy. He's been kind of with me through the whole journey. Like that's my guy. And the funny thing is, just like me and my boy, shout out to my boy out there in Chicago, the Vegas Club Kid. That's his handle.
Nice.
You can find me on all socials, and I'll say this. Make sure that, and I'll be well, I don't want to say where I'll be. I want to take it the next. I got a couple other platforms I got to jump on, but any social media type in DJ Killzown Jones. We got, you can find me, Jadal Gaming, at Jadal Gaming on all socials with L Streets.
Yeah.
And then Streets with a Z. Where else? If you want to purchase one of these shirts, get them on Spring. I forgot to send that to you, but I'll send it to you, Crip.
Yeah.
And that's where I'm at. All the content will be there. So whatever your favorite social media site is, I'm there. I'm there every day. I'm on like the TV.
And that's how you had to be, right?
So yeah. So as far as content wise, I'm praying that I can get out there. Gonna be a lot of work, but I'm trying to get out to Seattle this year for PAX West.
Nice.
I'm praying that, the planes and everything is cool because I'm trying to get out there.
Yeah.
Prayers to all the people that was in that crash in Toronto, all the crashes that we had.
Right. I think there was just another one today.
Yeah. I mean, so yeah, we trying to get out there, trying to get back to Chicago.
Okay.
Going back, trying to go to Galloping Ghost and go to, but my next thing is to go to different cities and go to different game stores.
Yeah.
And kind of do like a game store too. I've been seeing a couple people like shout out to Mr. Right Way. He's been doing it. It's a couple people, but I want to take it pretty much go all the way across the country.
That'd be dope.
Japan, the UK, different places like that. So that's what's on the agenda is to go to events. Like I said, you see a brother with a big suitcase coming your way, then you got some merch, or a bag or something. I don't know if they're gonna let me bring a suitcase, but I'm gonna bring a bag or something, a tote bag, and it's gonna have a T-shirt or some merch or something that you can have, and maybe we'll post up for a picture or something.
Heck yeah.
And that's kind of what's on my agenda, Lord willing, if I'm able to do it. that's where I'm gonna take it and actually touching the people and doing live stream. We actually, I got to call L. Well, I don't know if I should say it or not. We did. I think I said it before, but we're planning on doing a Jadal Gaming 24-hour stream in Miami when GTA 6 comes out.
Okay,
so I don't know how crazy, especially if they drop the multiplayer at the same. Hopefully they do, because
that'd be wild.
Y'all can go on YouTube. All my live streams are there.
Yeah.
Me and L, like like I said, we're like the GTA 5 Bonnie and Clyde. So
I'm gonna check these out because I can't do the online play. Like I can watch somebody else do it all day.
Yeah, and I'm not a role playing person. People, I know a lot of people. Like my nephew been wanting me to do role playing forever, but I gotta beef up my setup, and then I don't like the grind that it takes. Like I had to start off from, like I'm like, this is even harder than Dark Souls. I gotta go to work every day, and then or then I gotta rob a bank, or I gotta go do this, and then if I get caught, then it takes way too long if you're not like the server master,
right?
Like, but that's where I'm at. That's what I got planned for the year.
All right, dope. Well, I will have all of Killzone's links in the description of this podcast, and if you haven't already, go ahead and subscribe to the podcast, Uploaded and Unfiltered. We are on every week on Tuesdays. We have 85 episodes deep. We haven't missed a week yet. And I don't see no time stopping. So we're going to keep this thing moving. But other than that, appreciate y'all for listening. Thank you. I know this is a longer one, but whatever. Get what knowledge you need out of it and share it with your friends and other content creators out there. Other than that, as always, protect your mental, keep creating content, and I will talk to you on the next one. Peace.